Hello and welcome back to Football Talk, the podcast on YouTube, SoundCloud, and we've got ourselves on Twitter as well. So we'll start off with a little message about that. If you want to follow us on Twitter, go and follow us. It's Football Talk, but remember, there's no A in football. On YouTube, you can find us at Cultured Left Foot's YouTube channel, although that's probably where you're listening already. And it will soon be moving to the Football Talk YouTube channel. We're just going through the process of setting that up. And on SoundCloud, you can search for us at Football Talk. But now that's out the way, I can introduce my ever so handsome co-host. Josh, say hello.
Oh, hello, you flirt.
Oh, well, you know, I haven't seen you for a long time, so I'm assuming you're still thin, slender, and very attractive.
No, absolutely horrendously ugly now.
Damn.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anyway, now we've got that bit of Josh out of the way. We'll start as we always do. The week in football. What you've been up to? What are your thoughts on this week in football, Josh?
There's been a kind of just a bit of odd news bits around the week. I haven't really had much personally in football, so I was kind of trawling the news site, seeing what's happening. There's one bit which caught my eye, and I'm a bit torn around how I feel about it. The Crystal Palace ladies football team news. Did you see that early in the week?
I did, but I didn't know too much about it.
So they've been kind of pushed to raise some more funds themselves. I think there's around £250 to raise funds because they're lacking funds, and it's just a very strange situation to be in. That obviously it's associated with a multi-million-pound company, the Crystal Palace men's team, and they're being who are kind of cash rich, and then the ladies' team on the other side is forced to kind of raise their own money. It's kind of where do you sit on the thought that they need to raise their own money? Should they be helped by Crystal Palace? Should they not? What's your thoughts?
I think it's a weird one because surely they all come under the same umbrella company of Crystal Palace Football Club. That's what I find bizarre about it. So I think Crystal Palace. If Crystal Palace have made the choice to have a ladies' team, then Crystal Palace Football Club should be helping them out to run it. They shouldn't have to go and raise £250 each to keep afloat and keep playing and stuff. That's a bit ludicrous. I mean, it just seems like I just don't get it. They'll be a separate organisation, but it's like the only example I can think of that comes off my head is EA Sports. Or EA Sports will be producing FIFA and NHL and NFL and NBA or whatever, but it all comes from EA. They all have their own budgets. I understand that, but if someone's budget is failing or something like that, then EA would prop them up because it's in EA's interest. I think that's what strikes me as a bit strange.
It reeks of Crystal Palace almost doing with the ladies' team as a kind of just going along with it as a PR stunt and not really having their faith in it. Because normally, as a company, you have a new business venture. You understand that it will take some development, some capital up front to get investment in it, to build it up, and then the profit returns will come later down the line. And it might not be for a few years. And it seems like they don't actually have faith in it ever being this kind of self-sufficient business and go, I'm not even going to put in this money up front because I just don't have any faith in it. You've got to stand on your own 2 feet. We're not going to hold your hand through it. And it doesn't really kind of a whole kind of one team, one dream type thing, does it? It kind of things like, cope for yourself.
It's very weird. Yeah, it's very bizarre. And I think it's like, obviously Man United have recently set up a ladies team. And that seems like a massive PR thing because they basically set it up because everyone was being like, I can't believe Man United don't have a ladies team.
Yeah, and then they immediately got into the league, even though they shouldn't have got into the league, really. Someone else said,
it's like, it's all a bit bizarre. I mean, I don't know enough about women's football. I haven't ever watched it at club level. I quite like watching women's international football when England are in tournaments like the Euros and the World Cups and stuff. And I've watched them, which is good, and they're good fun. But the ins and outs of the ladies' game, or the women's game, I should say, with like money and finances and stuff like that, I don't really understand how it all works. So I just know that Man City buy the best players in ladies' football as well. So.
Well, I change it. I only again, so like you, I don't really have any feelings pro con to women's football, but one thing that does annoy me about it is clickbait that the sports websites use. They won't header it as women's football. They'll go something like Man City with club record signing. Like, oh my goodness, who have Man City bought? Oh, it's women's football. It's like, just don't clickbait me. Just kind of be upfront. I'll read about women's football if I want to read about women's football. Don't kind of lure me in under false pretenses. So
that's the media needing their clicks, though, isn't it? That's the media needing their ad revenue. So
absolutely,
on the Crystal Palace ladies things, I did see that your favourite non-Tottenham player was donating money towards the cause, Wilfried Zaha.
Yes, he did, didn't he?
He's a lovely little man.
What a
He's a lovely
hero!
little
What a
man.
dreamboat!
Well, fair enough. Well, there you go, people.
Yeah.
You know that Josh has a man crush on Wilfred Zaha, if that wasn't apparent.
Yeah.
So anything else in your week in football you wanted to discuss? Or other news topics?
The Danish football team strike. Did you see this? This was set to be fascinating, but then they they found an agreement at the last minute, didn't they?
But it was so bizarre because they still went ahead with a fixture, didn't they? So they had like loads of these now random Danish people who have had one international cap.
Yeah, like the like futsal team kind of. It's like a film. It's like what dreams are made of. You're like, oh, I'm never going to get a Danish. Oh my goodness, that's one to put on the mantelpiece and tell grandkids about, isn't it?
That's incredible. Yeah, it was. So yeah, I did hear about that one. That was a very interesting. They lost 3-0 to Slovenia or Slovakia or something, which for a team of people that aren't actual international footballers isn't too bad. But
no, yeah, absolutely,
it was very interesting on that one. Very interesting. So there's a couple of things in this week's football that was interesting. I know that you've like mentioned something, but Yaya Toure, it was on your list of things as well, and I did see that. Back to Olympiacos. So, and
I think what might be surprising for some people that we're saying back to Olympiacos because it's kind of an odd career that Yaya Toure had, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was very bizarre.
Yeah, so Olympiacos was his third professional club. I think he might have played in Ukraine as well.
Yeah.
He played in Ukraine as well, Yaya Toure. And so it's just some really weird clubs. I mean, in the middle, you got Monaco, Barcelona, Man City. It's like his agent finally went, all right, I'm going to find you a good club. All right, I appreciate you're a good player, but it's just a very, very weird career that man's had.
I wonder if it's in his Olympiacos contract that he gets a birthday cake.
That was a deal breaker. It's like, I'm not going to. Yeah. Greek football's a bit strange, isn't it? I mean, I remember when we were growing up, it was a little bit more prominent, wasn't it? Like Rivaldo spent a bit of time out there, and been some decent players over years. It doesn't seem to be like in the Europa League and Champions League. There doesn't seem to be much presence from any strong presence from Greek sides anymore. I mean, it was never really strong, but it kind of seems like it's at a low ebb. Do you agree?
I do agree, and I think they've had quite a lot of problem from the FA point of view. I think isn't it in the Greek league where one of the chairmen went on the pitch with a gun or something?
That did happen. Yeah,
and
I suppose what's also not
with that rather than the football.
I suppose what's also helped is the fact that their economy tanked, so I doubt their football teams were immune from that. So the money was probably dried up a little bit from football terms, didn't it?
Yeah, that's very true. That's very true. And obviously, the pinnacle of part of their recent history was that they had Matt Derbyshire playing up front for Olympiacos.
Absolutely.
So that's never going to impress many people. So
no.
Yeah, but anything else that you wanted to discuss that has caught your eye in the week in football?
There's a couple of Twitter polls and Twitter kind of tweets I saw out there which I thought was somewhat interesting. Yeah. There was the fact around kind of the millennials now, it's quite common for them to support more than one team, which I found.
Yeah, you tagged me in it, didn't you? And I said that's a bit right. Now, what annoys me about that is that it didn't say, "Oh, we find like millennials support more than one UK team." It just said support more than one team. Now, support is a very loose term. Because back in our day, like when we were, the world wasn't larger, but in terms of transport and getting around, it wasn't as easy as it is now, and
less globalized, globalization,
less globalized. But like we could play Champ Manager or something and be like, oh, look at this team in Belgium. I've had a great season with them. I'm gonna follow them for a little bit. And if they then like say it was Anderlecht or something, and they then did well in the Champions League one year, you'd be like, yeah, I knew them. I support them because of Champ Manager.
Yeah. So if I was to ask you now, then Dave, how many teams would you say you supported?
Well, one. I support one, but I follow.
Well, you're a fan. Yeah. Okay, right. So I suppose it's the word fan, I suppose, because fan is fandom and you're fanatical and things like that. So I suppose I'm a fan of Tottenham because they are peak Tottenham. I kind of look out for results, just through very, very random reasons. I'll run through a few of them. So I follow Burnley's results because my wife is from the area, so I look out for Burnley. I look out for Cheltenham Town's results because I had a fantastic Championship Manager game when I was growing up. my grandparents from France are from Marseille, so I follow the kind of Marseille results.
Yeah.
For my stag do, I went to Munich and we watched 1860 München play, so I look out for those. So they're the kind of, I look out for the results, but I would never say I'm a fan of them. I don't track their daily news or anything like that. What about you? You got any other, who can you add to that list?
Anderlecht are on there because I've been to Anderlecht. I've seen the stadium, and I used to love Mitrovic when he played for Anderlecht on really old FIFAs.
Oh, right, yeah.
Shakhtar Donetsk, because I had an unbelievable football manager save with Shakhtar Donetsk. And when Shakhtar came and played Tottenham in the Champions League group stage not too long ago, or maybe the Europa League.
I remember.
Yeah.
Europa League, yeah.
I was going to the game, and then I had a family issue back in Kent, so I could no longer go to it. So I was actually going to go and watch Shakhtar play, which was interesting. I look out for Roma's results because of the glory days of Francesco Totti, and when they had that game like Cafu, Totti, and that I watched them do that. And then the big one is NK Maribor because I've been addicted to and again I don't support them, but I'm a fan and I'm not a fan. I'm a follower of NK Maribor's results. But I've been to the stadium. I've had a wander around the stadium. I've been to the city. I've played with them on Football Manager. I used to play with them on FIFA because they were the worst team in the game. So if you ever wanted an easy win, like a quick 5-minute 9-0 thrashing of NK Maribor, I've bought the kit because I was at the stadium. And it's but I wouldn't say I support them. I just follow them. So
yeah, and I suppose then added to that, I also have my local side. So Folkestone and Victor I'm a passing fan of those because I've watched them. I've probably been to as many live games as Folkestone I've been to. Not as Tottenham, because I normally go to once or twice a season to Tottenham, and then probably easily once a season I go to Folkestone and Victor. But yeah, it's funny. So listeners, it'll be intriguing to know if you have a list like ours of clubs that you support, who your main, your pinnacle, who you're devoted to, and then if you've got a myriad of reasons like we do of why we follow other clubs, that'd be very interesting to hear.
It is, and I think you get quite good stories from that question as well, when it's like, oh, what random clubs do you follow? And then someone will always, in our group of friends especially, will always be like, oh, well, it's this team because of Championship Manager. Generally, it's always fun. It's always good to see it like that. So it's an interesting question, that thing of. That's why I didn't like it when you tagged myself and Football Talk in it. I didn't like the way it was phrased. I found no issue with the way for someone to say, "Oh, I support two clubs." Well, so what? If one of them's Folkestone and Victor and one of them's Tottenham, that doesn't really matter. If you're saying it's like, no. I support Man United and Brighton or something, then it's sort of like, well, yeah. We might have a bit of an issue, but yeah.
Fun fact: my granddad used to support Arsenal and Manchester United.
Really? I mean...
Yeah, that's enough. Yeah. I can't really explain it. I was very young and didn't really understand it at the time. But yeah, he quite enjoyed his football as well. So yeah, bit of an odd one.
Yeah. Okay, that is an odd one. That's an interesting little Josh family fact for you.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. But okay, well that's fair enough. So the other thing that we found on Twitter, again, you found it on Twitter. It was it Coral or William Hill, one of the betting firms, put out
one of the betting firms, yeah.
Which sporting event would you like to go to? And they showed, I think it was Muhammad Ali in a boxing match, the Liverpool 3-3 in Istanbul in the Champions League, and then a couple of others as well that are in there. And you changed it into which football match in history would you like to go to, or would you wish you could have been at? What game could you wish you would have been at? So what was your what came to your mind when you retweeted that?
Immediately came to mind is one of my most enjoyable experiences watching football. I can still picture where I am. I was sat in my lounge. I don't know which chair I was sat in. My dad was sat next to me, and it was in 1999. I imagine kind of May, June time, and it was the Champions League final between Manchester United and Bayern Munich. That still goes down as one of my greatest experiences of watching football. I mean, I'm not a Man United fan, never have been, but it was just the fact that two goals in the last few minutes to win the game. It was just that is peak emotion. That is.
It was it's on my list, 100% on my list.
Unsurprisingly, yeah.
But really good. I mean, the other one that I've got on there, although I'm a Man United fan, I would have loved to have been at Liverpool AC Milan for Istanbul.
Okay,
Like,
yeah.
3-0 down, 3-0. I was again. So the Champions League final with Man United against Bayern Munich in '99. I was at Owen's house, our friend Owen. I was watching it with him
All right, yeah.
at his house, and like we both went pretty mental when they won it. And then the Liverpool AC Milan Istanbul. I was actually watching it at university in my hall.
I was also at university, yeah, in my halls, yeah.
Of residence, and I remember it because Liverpool got the third goal, the equaliser. And like the whole flat, we were watching it in our flat, and the whole flat went mental. And then a little sign came out down the window, like so we're watching it in the kitchen, and we had a window in the kitchen, and a broom came down outside the window from above with an A4.
Was it a witch?
Sheet on it.
Oh.
No, with an A4. So someone was holding it out of the window, like above us, above, with a sheet of paper on it that said, "Can you keep the noise down?" And we were like,
football fan, yeah.
We were like,
no,
that just made us go louder. And then when they won it in extra time, because that was, I've never had any like ill thoughts towards Liverpool. So when an England team won the Champions League then, and it was caught up in the moment, and it was 3-0 down, it was absolutely amazing. But imagine being at that game. Imagine being a Liverpool fan at that game. That would have been unbelievable.
Yeah, crazy. Another fun Josh family fact: my brother-in-law was at the 1999 Champions League final. He's a Man United fan, so.
Oh wow, that is good.
Yeah,
that is good.
Yeah. The other game that entered my head was again Manchester, but the other side of Manchester was their Premier League win. You hate this when they won the title. Aguero, yeah, that QPR, again must have been amazing. I still think about that game. Did Joey Barton get sent off to throw the match?
Yeah,
City, wasn't he? He was Man City youth, yeah. And I can't help but think, you know what? I'm happy to, go a bit mental here, go a bit Joey Barton, and get myself and give him an advantage. I don't know. It always stuck with me.
Yeah, it's interesting that. So that's obviously not on my list of games that I wish I was at. So,
dear.
I think like the standout one I had that I mean is way back in time, but England winning the World Cup, that would have been amazing. To be there, obviously. But one that sticks in my mind actually involves Tottenham, Josh. And that's when,
really?
And that's when...
Oh, no, don't do it.
Yeah, you came to... I'm pretty sure it was at White Hart Lane, and you went... Was it 2-0 up at half-time? 3-0 up
3-0 up. 3-0 up at half-time, yeah.
And then the second half, Tottenham just capitulated, and Man United obviously had a Fergie rocket right up their bum. And managed to score 5.
Lads, it's Tottenham, yeah.
Managed to score 5 in the second half, so... I would have loved
I can't really remember. I remember Dean Richards scored for us. Rest in peace.
Yeah.
I can't really remember. It was a bullet header from a corner. I can remember Beckham scored for you. Maybe Veron scored for you.
I think it was Andy Cole. Andy Cole scored 2. Beckham, Veron, and it was another striker. It might have been. No, it wouldn't have been Van Nistelrooy then. I don't know, but it was definitely... Andy Cole definitely scored 2, Beckham got 1, and Veron got 1. I can't remember the 5th, but it might have been Solskjaer. Okay. Because he was still hanging around then. But yeah, it was... I'd love to have been at that game. Love to have been at that game. With you as well. Sitting next to you. That would have been better.
No, I wasn't happy with that one. That was somewhat saddening. I mean, it got even worse. Was it a few years later? I think it was an FA Cup match. We were again 3-0 up at half time against Man City, and I think Anelka or maybe even Joe Barton again got sent off, literally on the stroke of half time, and then we lost 4-3. And someone like what's his name? Man City striker who's absolutely awful, English guy, scored the winner. John Macken. Yeah, it's like, how is this possible? Yeah,
incredible. To be a Tottenham fan, eh? To be a Tottenham fan.
To be a Tottenham fan, yeah, it's been great fun over the years.
Excellent. Well, very quickly, I did have something else to talk about week in football, which is actually my week in football. I had I was going to say I had an FA Cup semi-final. That's a load of bollocks.
Very impressive. Yeah,
I had a cup semi-final, which it's very dramatic, Josh. It's very dramatic. Let me set the scene for you.
Go on.
It's a handicapped cup. So if you play someone in the league above you, you get a 0.5 goal head start. So we're in the second division.
That was different. That was a different thing to what I was imagining.
It's a score handicapped cup semi-final.
Score handicapped, right?
So we were playing a team in Division 1 who have actually won the cup 3 years in a row. So we were playing the holders. Of the current cup, and we're in Division 2. So we had a half goal lead, a 0.5 goal lead, which basically just means the game can't end in a draw. Like, you can't go any further than 90 minutes. And so both teams turned up. We were there, went through a warm up, did our warm up. They turned up, went through a bit of a warm up, and I was chatting to the manager, and he was like, "I don't recognise like quite a few of their players in the team." And we're like, "Oh, okay." And then as they were doing their warm up across the pitch, he was like, "I tried to sign that guy. He's only lived in Singapore for like 3 weeks." So he took a photo of me on his phone, and then the game played out. They ended up winning 2-0. They actually ended up winning 2-0. Good goal from a corner, bullet header from a corner, and then a penalty. Other than that, we actually kept our own against this team that had won the cup the last couple of years. And in the game, we'd played some good stuff and missed a few good chances to put ourselves like in a good driving position. But then it got to the end of the game, and the manager was like, "I'm just going to phone like the committee that run the competition and the league and all that and the competitions," and put through. And apparently, the 2 people that scored their goal were unregistered, so we might actually be going through to a cup final.
Oh my goodness!
Yeah.
Oh.
So and apparently they've been doing it all the way through their league season as well in Division 1. So like now the committee, like the competition committee, are coming down on them apparently quite hard. We haven't got confirmation yet, but we might be defaulting our way into a cup final, which is really weird.
Oh. What a sweet way of doing it.
I know. Like, the thing is, we played well. We just didn't take our chances on the day, and they scored 2 goals. But the fact that both of their goals were scored by, like, unregistered players, and then it crossed my mind that one of their goals was a penalty. Why wouldn't you give the penalty to one of the players that's normally on your team?
Just where if you believe the lie is true, it doesn't really matter anymore, does it? They just didn't care. They just don't.
True. Very true. Very true. So so that was my highlight of the week.
Keep me posted.
So, I will. We should have an update for you by next week. So
excellent.
We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens with that. But okay, so I think that's enough for the week in football, as it were.
Yeah.
So do you want to head up the next bit, Josh? Or I can let you.
Yeah. So that was the first main section we've got now is feeds on from our poll we put out during the week.
Yeah.
And it kind of led on for a little bit of a discussion we had in the prior week's podcast. And it was, if you had to pick one, would you rather your club you supported, one of the clubs you support, wins the Champions League, or your country wins the World Cup? And my view beforehand was club all the way, and your view was country all the way, wasn't it, Dave?
It was, yeah. I'm a country boy.
Yeah.
No, hang on. I support my country.
Yeah. And now the public have spoken, and it ended up with a 50% majority to the club winning the Champions League.
Oh, I can't believe
which
that.
Is a lot closer than I thought it'd end up.
Well, it swung. I was keeping an eye on it, and it did swing both ways. Like World Cup, winning the World Cup took a very early lead. Like it stormed out in front. It really did storm out in front, and then club came back into it, and then ended up nicking it with, what was it, 52%? Did you say?
54, yeah.
54%. So it's it was. I just don't understand it. Like you say, there's obviously a bit of a bias if your club has never really won the Champions League or never. Especially like people, I can imagine people like someone who's a staunch Folkestone Invictus fan would probably pick Folkestone Invictus winning the Champions League over England winning the World Cup because it's very unlikely to happen. But,
do you know, I was going to go the other way. I was thought, would it be believable for a Folkestone Invictus fan to go win the Champions League? Because it's never attainable. But I suppose it's the dream of what your team and side can do. But yeah, okay.
That's the thing. Yeah, it's the ultimate dream, isn't it? And it's why people do. It's why I play Football Manager on YouTube and like make videos out of it to show that. This is the aim to get get NK Maribor from little old Slovenia to win the Champions League. It's every fan's like dream for club football. But
absolutely, yeah. I
still think saying that if Man United had never won the Champions League, I'd still want England to win the World Cup because it's such a rarity. It's once it's ever happened, and I
suppose it's nice that has been the competition throughout. It hasn't changed its guise. Like World Cup has always been the World Cup. Obviously, trophy has changed. But the Champions League was previously the European Cup, was it? And then there's a bit of a Cup Winners' Cup bit and things like that. So yeah, it's not always been. It's kind of like the Premier League and being in Division 1, isn't it? It's changed it a little bit, but I just think I invest so much of my footballing fandom into Tottenham. It is like last week when Tottenham lost I was in a right old grump. I was like, "Oh, this is absolute." I just kind of go. I can't even go on social media because it would just be like, "Oh, Tottenham's lost." Not like it should be fact. It won't be people trolling at me. It would be like just a see the result again, and it's like, "Oh God Almighty, get away from it." But I don't feel the same thing with country. Like, I, and I wondered. Go on.
Yeah, but it comes down to that thing that I said last week, that if England were playing every week and you could see them every week and you're tracking it every week, then you would be more attached to them. But it's the nature of international football. But saying that, I get really involved with England when it's like competition time. If it's the Euros or it's the World Cup, I will watch every single game, no matter who we're playing.
Now, see, this is a point I was about to make earlier, but it fits in right now. So, international football, when people are at their most interested, it is a knockout cup competition.
Yeah.
Is always bloody exciting, right?
Yeah.
Now, what I'm concerned about, what we talked about last week, the UEFA Nations League, it's a league format. Is that actually going to bring any excitement to it? Because ultimately, teams, during your club's like league campaign, you don't get overly excited, overly kind of down. Well, I said I was down last week with Watford. I'll be a lot more down if we were out of when we knocked out to Juventus. I was a lot more down after that. Will the emotion be kind of plateaued a little bit, kind of tapered off, being a league format versus knockout format?
I think, yeah, I don't think the adrenaline, so to speak, will be there for the UEFA Nations League alongside, if you compare it to like the World Cup as a knockout. I think even the group stages in the World Cup, you don't get that feeling of emotion. It's as soon as it goes to the knockouts and you know, okay, well, one game and you're out.
Yeah, it's done, isn't it? Yeah.
I think, I don't think the UEFA Nations League will replicate that of a World Cup knockout, and I think it's going to struggle, the UEFA Nations League, and it's interesting to see how full Wembley will be today for the game for England v Spain, because Scotland played Belgium yesterday on Friday, and there was only like 24,000 people there, and you're like, this is Belgium that like came third in the World Cup, coming to Scotland, and you'd think you'd want to go and see all the. But it was from what I've read. Obviously I didn't watch it and I haven't seen highlights or anything. But from what I read on the internet, on BBC and Football 365 mainly, was that the atmosphere was very much friendly, and there was most of them moaning about Alex McLeish's tactics, but that's what you get when you have Alex McLeish as manager. But yeah,
and they got smashed, and and you saw it the same old players pulling out because they were of like slight knocks. Was it Raheem Sterling got bad back or something pulled out? It's like he wouldn't have missed a Man City match for that. It clearly isn't as prominent in their thoughts as club football. So I don't think anything's going to change with how the players are going to approach it. Personally,
again, it's something that you said I think last week, is that it could be very different if, say, England got to the knockout stages of it. Then there could be a bit of euphoria in the country and a bit of euphoria with the fans. But I just don't know. It's a new competition, and it's so hard to. I don't think we've ever had. Have we ever had a whole new competition invented in our lifetime? I don't think we really have. Like the Premier League the Premiership was already a league system. It's just another add-on to the league system.
Yeah. That's a good point.
I don't think we do. I don't think we've ever had a whole new competition. Like we've been brought.
No, we've had adaptations. Yeah.
So it'll
I saw a quote earlier in the week that Harry Maguire tried to have it explained to him, but he still doesn't understand the UEFA Nations League. I was like, listen to our podcast, mate. Come on.
Yeah. Exactly.
Come on, Slabhead.
Yeah, you should be able to sort it out. But I mean, it's that was a little bit sidetracked. But I do think club v country. I think it's hard. It's hard because it's you won't really know until the same thing happens in the same season, I guess, and then what season that would be. Like if Man United won the Champions League and then England won the World Cup in like the same season in 2022 or whatever it will be, then I'll just quit football entirely. I think.
Yeah, so that's kind of like Barcelona fans a few years back, isn't it? Really.
Yeah, where they did like the quadruple and then Spain went and won the Euros and then the World Cup.
Yeah, what a time.
What a time to be alive. Or to be a Spain fan, anyway. Or to be Spanish.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we've just had to put up with, shit really, until.
Well, yeah, I'm a Tottenham and England fan. It's pretty much been pretty similar. It's like, oh god.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
like the
and
ultimate.
we're probably going to go through our golden Tottenham generation, which I probably would say is now for my fandom, and it's probably going to end up exactly as England's golden generation.
That's very true. Like the ultimate, you're like one of the ultimate bottle fans, aren't you? Like you support Tottenham, who are ultimate bottle jobs, and then England, who are pretty much the ultimate bottle jobs as well.
How dare you?
Sorry about that, mate. Sorry.
How dare you?
How very dare you?
Yeah, as we draw the club v country thing to a close, I think I sent you a message this morning, but we'll do this for next week. Is that if we can, for our club teams, we will set up a squad, a national team squad, so a 23-man squad over the time that we've supported them. So, say for Tottenham, I might look at getting Hugo Lloris, Ian Walker, and Eric Torsted in goal. So if we set that up as a kind of club v country for next week, and listeners, you ever think of your club over the time you've supported them, if you could pick a 23-man squad out of not necessarily the best players, maybe your favourite players, maybe get a wild card in there, who would you pick as your 23-man
club squad
from the time you supported them? So we'll have that as our one of our elements for next week, I think.
Interesting, I like that. Yeah, and you got to just to add in, you got to have a minimum of 3 goalkeepers.
Oh, absolutely, it's got to follow the rules.
The
yeah,
World Cup rules. Yeah, okay, interesting. I like that one. I like that. That's very good. I like that very much. Okay, so we'll draw that to a bit of a close, which means it's now time for the wiki files. Who needs the wiki files? I need the wiki files.
Who needs
the wiki files for you? Right, Josh and I were joking about
yes,
the
Dave.
theme, and he said that I should do it to the theme of who needs the quickie mart. So we went for it. It was a mixed bag. So it's the,
I've also got another one.
Oh God.
I don't know if you used to play at school. There's a game called Who's Boobs by Liquid Generation. Did you ever play that?
Yes, Who's Boobs?
And I was going to yeah, whose stats are these stats, not my stats? Whose stats?
Okay,
so
right.
Comments below, which one do you prefer?
Yeah.
Prefer Quickie Mart or Who's Boobs?
Let us know down below, and we will put a jingle together at some point whilst we're recording all these podcasts. We will put a jingle together to do it. So Josh has now sent me the file of the player, so I'll just be opening it up anytime now. There we go. Oh my god. Right, so say what I see. Say what I see. He's had quite the eclectic career. Oh my god. Like looking down it. Right, so he started senior career 1995 to 1999 at Sunderland, playing 1 game short of 80 appearances. 79 appearances, 16 goals. He moved to Leeds United 99 to 2004, scoring 19 in 56. He went on loan to Newcastle, where he only played 6 games. Then he moved to Bolton, but went back to Sunderland on loan during that season and scored 1 goal in 11. Then moved to Sunderland again. And what is this? And then scored 1 goal in 8 games. Then moved to Bristol City.
He lured to Sunderland.
Yeah. Then moved to Bristol City and played 11, didn't score any. Then went on loan to Carlisle and seems to have his career
won himself a permanent move, didn't he?
Yeah, he played 7 games, scoring 3 and won a permanent move to when he then scored 16 goals in 23 games. Which
very good record there.
And then that got him a move to Hull City, which I assume would have been in the Premiership for them in 2006 to 2009. They would have had 1 year in the Premiership, I think, around then.
Not sure.
Under Phil Brown, I'm pretty sure it was.
Who's now managing League 2, I thought the other day. With Giovanni. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. 2 goals in 22 games for Hull, and then went on loan to Sydney, and then went on loan back to Carlisle. Who the hell is this? Then they obviously were impressed by his... Milton Keynes Dons are obviously impressed by his time in Sydney and Carlisle to buy the guy, although only then played him once. And he moved back to Australia to play for Newcastle Jets. 11 goals in 63 games, and then went to Lambton... and then moved to Lambton Jaffers. And where the hell is Lambton Jaffers?
That is Australia, mate.
Oh, so it's still so he stayed in Australia. Okay.
Yeah.
2 goals in 18 games in 2015 for Lambton Jaffers, and overall he played 344 appearances, scoring 79 goals.
So his Premier League career was mainly for Leeds, I'd say there, Dave.
Okay. I mean, the ending in Australia automatically, like, my reactions were Viduka and Harry Kewell. It's not Harry Kewell because he played for Liverpool, and I'm pretty sure. Well, it's not Viduka because Viduka didn't play for Bristol City or Sunderland. I'm pretty sure, or Bolton.
Yeah.
Although he didn't technically play for Bolton in this history. I am pretty flummoxed. I'm going to be honest with you. I'm pretty flummoxed with this. This is a tough one. Before I ask for my next one, is there any hints you can give, or are we not at that stage?
So he played for Leeds when it was peak Leeds.
Okay.
Peak Leeds.
Peak Leeds. I mean, the fact he was so open to move to Australia, he's got to be Australian. He has. Can I have his nationality? Can I have his international career, please?
You can have his international career. What a
Okay,
formidable
so-
career it
oh
was
my
as well.
God, England under 18s, 2 goals in 5 appearances. England under 21s, 3 goals in 11 appearances. Who the hell is this? Who the hell is this? Who went on loan to Newcastle from Leeds and then didn't play very much? And why? And it's Sunderland and Newcastle. Like, that's very rare.
So he loves it. He's a northeast lad. It's not. You know what you say? It's very rare, but it really isn't, because I think the players in the northeast love the northeast. So many of them motions and played for different clubs in the northeast there.
Okay. I don't even have a position. It's got to be a midfielder, I think, somewhere. Maybe a winger, because there's not a lot of goals in those games. But he scored. You know, that Carlisle 16 and 23 suggests maybe pushed up front for a couple of games. I'm really struggling. I'm going to have to go for the whole lot. Can I have his position?
You can have his position, yes. 1 second.
Okay, so Wikipedia describes him as second striker / attacking midfielder. Oh my God.
I would always put him as a striker. In my head, he is a striker.
Okay, all right.
And in his Leeds days, I think he was talked about as being like the next big thing, and then injuries took their toll, unfortunately.
I mean, it sounds like you're summarising Harry Kewell. It's not Harry Kewell. Oh God.
No, this is his English striker.
Yeah.
He was all right. He tucked him away and then went off the boil. Michael Bridges. Yes.
I mean, I don't think I would have got it without your hints, but yeah, Michael Bridges. He was awesome in Champ Manager 0102. He was incredible. Yeah, he was absolutely incredible.
Peak Leeds.
Yeah, it was indeed peak Leeds. That stint in Carlisle, though, 16 goals in 23 games. He must have thought he was back. He was like, "This is it."
Yeah. The glory days. I feel like I'm 9 years younger. No.
I mean, he must be really. I bet you he's one of those footballers that since he retired, he got fat. He was always a bit chubby. Yeah, he was always a bit chubby. I reckon as soon as he retired, he got.
He was a tidy player. I think he's one of these players who has a slightly good season, and then the kind of the media ramp up on it and go, "Oh, he's gonna be great." I mean, he did get injured quite a lot, but he's never. I don't think he's ever going to be great.
No, and he reminds, like you describing that when you say, like, you know, he has one good season, the media ramp him up. It reminds me of that Ipswich striker. Is it Mark Stewart or
Marcus Stewart? Marcus Stewart.
Yeah, because he was quite similar, wasn't he? He had a really good season, like 2 really good seasons for Ipswich, and then you just sort of never heard of him ever again.
Yeah, I remember he scored a cracking hat-trick against Southampton, did Marcus Stewart.
Okay. Interesting.
Down at the Dale, I think it was. Yeah, Marcus Stewart is now assistant manager at Bristol Rovers, by the way. Your old haunt.
There you go. Yeah, my old living area. So, do you have any standout memories of Michael Bridges? Anything that jumps to mind?
Absolutely none. I've standout memories of that old Leeds side. So you got your Eric Backers, your Batties, your Kewells, your Gary Kellys, and Ian Hart was that the uncle and nephew, wasn't it?
Yeah. You had Nigel Martin in goal.
Lucas Radebe.
Yeah, Lucas Radebe, yeah. Oh, what a team.
Dominic Matteo, and obviously Rio Ferdinand a bit later on.
Yeah, it was a good team.
Alan Smith, Lee Bowyer.
Yeah, Seth Johnson.
Seth Johnson. I always remember quite about Seth Johnson when he was transferred from Derby to there, and he was like, "Right, you got." And him and his agent were talking like, "Right, you got wage demands. We're going to go. We want 30 grand a week." And then it must have been Peter Ridsdale. And right, here is 60 grand a week. We're like, "Okay."
yeah, I love that story. I really love that story.
It just about sums up Leeds' financial troubles, doesn't it?
Yeah, it did. Bloody hell. Okay, well there you go. That's the Wiki files done for another week. A good one. I mean, I wouldn't have got it, I don't think, without your hinting. So, yeah, that was a good one. Michael Bridges. And
I
you
was
picked,
I was going for
someone
your.
English.
I was going. Yeah, I was going to go for your wheelhouse, going for the old English, the
I
old
know.
Johnny Foreigners, not getting looking.
Yeah, it was a good one. I enjoyed that. I was put off because of the how often he moved back to Australia. I just assumed he was Australian. So,
Yes,
yeah.
you did detract from me. Yeah,
So,
I always like a player who's not afraid to go abroad.
yeah, I think we've had this discussion quite a few times, and it's actually a very hot
Mm.
topic at the moment as well because Gareth Southgate's sort of hinting that youngsters are going to have to go abroad to get game time and get picked for England, sort of thing. So it's I'm sure we'll be
We'll
discussing
start
that.
picking them if they're playing abroad then.
Oh yeah, exactly. Yeah, I think that's a topic we'll definitely discuss in the near future. I'm sure when
Mm.
England completely mess up the UEFA Nations League, probably.
Yeah.
So okay, well we'll go from one striker onto goal scoring. How about that, Josh? Would you like that link? Do you like that?
Yeah, not bad link. Yeah. So this week we saw what people have been describing as, oh, this is the goal of the season so far, and I saw it and I was like, no, that is not the goal of the season. And this was Fabio. Oh, this is a great pronunciation. Fabio Quagliarella.
Nice.
Yeah,
Yeah, nice.
his goal during the week, and it was one of those ones where he gets a cross in, and he's probably beyond the front post, and he flicks it with his heel, and it goes past the keeper, and it's just like I don't
It was
get
incredible.
those as great goals.
It was incredible. It was incredible. It was. I don't understand how you don't understand them as great goals. It's
Because it is just it can be a complete and utter fluke.
but it
It's
doesn't
just one
matter.
touch, a tiny touch, and I much prefer it a great goal to have a lot more about it. A lot more things can go wrong in the goals I like.
Right. Okay.
So
Okay. So here we go then. Here we go. Right. This is viewers and listeners. Just before Josh and I get into this, this will be on a level for the podcast that when we have the Ronaldo Messi debate. Okay. So this is like a precursor for how much we're passionate about two different things in football. So Josh, I'll let you go first. What is describe like your perfect goal and then give an example of someone scoring that sort of goal.
Okay, so I love pace, power, and finesse. Love the fact that a player will run with the ball and he use his pace and just tear past a fullback or tear through the middle of the pitch and keep going, and players are kind of grappling him, try and get him, and he's used up so much energy, his lungs are hurting, he gets through on goal, and either he can absolutely tear it into the net still, or he'll do a delicate finish. If he feels to lob the keeper as well, I mean, oh, blimey. But yeah, is that. And so the player I would pick who embodies that is Gareth Bale. His highlight reel is full of these type of goals. The goals like we burst onto the sea. Go on.
Hang on. You're not picking Lionel Messi, who does all that
no.
and does a little dink.
He does all that, but it's just it's got his power to technique ratio is a lot less on power and more on technique. It's close control. It's that lung busting powerful run from Gareth Bale which puts him above that for me. I mean, Messi's and the other person I'd mention as well is Ronaldinho. Those three, that would be my, if I had to pick a front three, my all-time 11, Messi false 9, Ronaldinho left, Gareth Bale right. That would be it.
Okay, that's a pretty frightening front three, to be honest. Yeah. So go on then. Describe what Gareth Bale goal is your favourite Gareth Bale goal like that. Go on.
Oh, I don't know about favourite, but the one that immediately comes to mind because obviously I experienced it is his goal. Well, either of his goals against Inter Milan when we were 3-0. Well, Spurs 3-0 down, 4-0 down. He bursts past Zanetti, goes round Walter Samuel and just buries it into the side net. But you can pick so many. There's that one he scored in the Copa del Rey final, goes round Bartra, round the outside of the pitch, he's running through, slots it home. Yeah. There's a goal against them in Norwich he scored, bursting through the middle of the pitch and then shifts it and just buries it in the bottom corner. It's just those type of goals are just all about me. That's what I'm all about.
Okay, all right. So shall I have a go?
Right. You have a go. Right. So on a scale of 1 to 10, you appreciate those goals? They're fantastic goals, or are you like?
Yeah, no, they're great goals. Don't get me wrong. They're still like up there, 8 or 9s. But I think to be a 10 out of 10, okay. It's an instinctive athleticism goal that takes it for me. Like you're talking like a stunning volley, a stunning overhead kick, like the. the instinct. I mean, this isn't my favourite goal of all time, but when Mkhitaryan and Giroud did the like scorpion kick goal, I love that.
Oh, get out!
Absolutely loved it. Absolutely brilliant. But like the overhead kicks, Rooney's against Man City obviously lives long.
Oh,
in my memory.
I knew that was coming.
Yeah.
Absolutely knew that was coming.
But what makes that goal absolutely amazing is the athleticism, firstly, to get in that position, your whole body. I don't care if he shinned it. I don't care. Like, to get your athleticism in that body. And the
preempting my critique.
Yeah, and the reactions to do it after it's deflected and the path of the ball has changed so dramatically. Like, I'm all about that sort of goal. I'm all about the things that you just... like, Gareth Bale has scored quite a few goals running through people and powering it into the corner.
Yeah.
Like, and don't get me wrong, they're very good goals. He's a very good footballer, but it's that. It's just I just love the fact that you don't. Like an overhead kick, no one ever expects it. Everyone always applauds, even if it's against your team. Like everyone loves it. I've seen Dean Ashton score an overhead kick at Old Trafford for West Ham, and that was incredible. Like,
I've also seen Rory Delap do an overhead kick, and you're telling me that's a great goal. If someone like that can do it, it means it's not great.
No, but was it what sort of overhead
It could be a fluke. Oh, it's a fantastic overhead kick. We'll add the link to the bottom. Rory Delap's overhead kick is far beyond what you think his skill set is. For him, it's fantastic, but it's just that element of fluke in it. Like, if you... I was about to say, if you give me, put 100 crosses into me, I'll score an overhead kick one time. Probably break my neck after the first 3.
Yeah.
But it's just that element, that one hit. Like that's why I don't appreciate long range strikes as being fantastic, like goal of the season contenders, because you see the amount of players that can do that. They can just catch it lucky one time, and it just I don't appreciate it anywhere near as much because there's so many things to go wrong in a dribble. It needs so much more technique and much more room for error. It's just far superior.
That's what makes long ranges and volleys and overhead kicks so much better because so many people get them wrong so many times. Like so when they do happen, they're absolutely fabulous. Like one of my all-time favourite goals, right, is Zidane for Madrid against Leverkusen in the Champions League final, where he flicks it over the defender's head and then a left-footed volley into the top corner where it sort of slices slightly off his foot and goes in the top corner. I absolutely love that goal. Like that is supreme. To connect with a volley like that, to be as good as you can with your feet, and just think, oh yeah, do you know what it is? I love people that just think I'm just going to do this. Let's just see what happens. And when it goes in, they're bloody fabulous. That's what I love.
Would you not love a player who can go, I'm going to do this from all the way back here. No, sod you. I'm not passing to you. I'm keeping going. That's what I love. But linked to your point about Zidane's goal, I prefer Gareth Bale's in the final.
No, really?
Yeah.
Really?
That I can understand the initial joy you have in that moment because it's completely unexpected. You see a run going, you're like, go on. You're building up that enjoyment. You're building up that release. Whereas literally that ball kind of just went in the air and all of a sudden Gareth Bale goes wallop.
Yeah.
You're like, oh my goodness, that is outstanding. It's that pure. It's like kind of knockout competition versus a league competition. You have the build up or the initial joy.
Yeah, I've got to stress this. I do love a good dribble, a good mazy dribble through defenders and a nice little finish. But I just think it's. I was going to say they're more common. They're not more common. That's not the word I want to say. There's not that. It probably is the fact there isn't that just raw impulse straight away. You can feel it building up, and I don't think anything's ever as good when you can feel it building up. I think I much prefer the feeling of oh my god, what the hell has just happened sort of thing. Like
right.
I just can't really describe it. And that's any overhead kick goals are probably my favourite. Like overhead kick or a scissor kick volley or something like that are probably my favourite goals. And
okay, so my favourite goal one of my favourite goals in your format, in your design is, I don't know why this always sticks with me, it was when Van Persie was at Arsenal and it was against Charlton and he just comes absolutely lashing onto it. It's like, holy Moses, that is good. That is. Yeah.
And then he scored a very similar goal for United against Villa, where the ball came from right back position and he followed it over his shoulder and just lashed it into the corner.
Again, that came
beautiful.
Yeah, that came to mind, and it also came into my head was the Charlton goal. Where Sean Bartlett scored a similar goal to that one, and it comes from the deep right back position over, and then that left foot volley across. Yeah, that is
Yeah,
beautiful.
yeah.
So, what about in my format? What's your favourite goal? In that kind of long or powerful dribble, and what do you like?
Um,
What comes to mind?
the thing is, I don't really remember too many goals like that. I do remember Gareth Bale scoring one of them at Inter Milan and being quite
Hmm.
astounded by it. I mean, there was Cristiano Ronaldo at Old Trafford against, I want to say it was Portsmouth, because he also scored a free kick in the same game. And he did
That
another
free
one
kick, that Portsmouth free kick. Yeah,
that he's lived on for years. That
yeah.
Portsmouth free kick. But in
There,
the
there
same
is there is
game,
2 goals. Yeah, there
yeah,
were 2 goals he has in his highlight reel.
yeah, yeah. And he did that in front. He cut in from the left wing and like just used his pace and power to get through a couple of people, and then right-footed a shot into the bottom corner. It was a very nice
He did one
goal,
against
but
Craven Cottage against Fulham, actually.
yeah, okay. So I mean, but yeah, that's what I mean. Goals like that don't live. They don't seem to live in my memory. They don't seem to stay in my memory. I just think it's a good goal. It's not that impulsive, reactive or reaction based goal that a volley is, or an overhead kick, or something. I mean, like Wayne Rooney against Newcastle. That is pure instinct. Arguing with the
Yeah, that's
referee,
very
runs onto the ball, lashes it into the top corner. I mean, that's
Yeah.
the sort of goal that I think is like that's brilliant. That is
I'll tell you
unbelievable technique.
what's second on my list. I'd say is the quick counter-attacking goal. It's where the counter-attacking move is executed to perfection, and it's
Yeah.
like there might have been an attack at the other end, and then all of a sudden, blink of an eye, it's gone. And you know, again, this is a United goal sticks in my mind.
Okay.
Is it Champions League against Arsenal at Emirates, and Park Ji-sung, Rooney, and Ronaldo all
Oh, yeah,
combined
yeah,
for Ronaldo to finish it off? It's like bravo, because again, it's that pace and power, but you rather than dribbling, you're using the ball well, because you can see how often counterattacks get messed up because it's basically how well you understand football is how a counterattack works. And some players you see they just don't quite get it. They make the wrong decision,
Yeah.
and it just goes absolutely belly up. And but that was perfection. That one.
I'll agree with that and say that a proper fluid counter-attacking goal is up there in my favourite goals. Was it Arsenal v Norwich a couple of years ago where Jack Wilshere I think scored it at the end, and they went from Norwich attack and it was like 6 passes there up, and then it was into Giroud's feet, round the corner to Ramsey, into Wilshere, and it was a goal. And it was just like that is it. There is something. You just sort of want to applaud, don't you? You just want to applaud and be like, well done, everybody. You've used your footballing brains to their maximum potential to make that work.
Especially because everybody's played a role there, and that's because the long-winded kind of when they go, oh, look how many passes there were before the match. It's like before the goal went in, it's like there were 30 passes before the goal. And it's like but.
Yeah.
I can understand if every player's touch it, but if it's at a lackadaisical pace, you pass it around the back four and moving it forward and crossing it in, bang. It's more if it's quick tempo, one touch, cutting through. That's what's special.
I do have one very special goal that lives in my memory where they did this thing of this goal had 31 passes before it, and that was Argentina against Mexico I think it was Mexico in the World Cup, but it ended with Maxi Rodriguez absolutely spanking it on the volley.
Yeah, volleyed. Yeah.
So
I knew exactly the goal you're talking there. Yeah.
I love that goal. I did love that goal, but I think it'll be interesting to know what do the people think in the comments, and what do they think on if you leave it in the description on SoundCloud and YouTube, and even get in touch with us on Twitter or whatever. But yeah, are you a fan of Josh's sort of goal? Is your favourite goal to be scored, like a powering run, which is a nice finish when you slalom past 2 or 3 defenders, or are you with me and it's the reactive and the reaction and the instinctive footballer sort of brain, or do you have a different sort of goal? Is a counter-attack goal your favourite sort of goal? And it's interesting. It's one of those things that we very rarely disagree on things about football. We have very similar footballing minds, me and you, Josh. And that and
Agreed,
the whole Ronaldo Messi thing is probably the 2 things I can only think of off the top of my head that splits us.
It's because each player embodies. Those 2 are very similar because Messi embodies my favourite goals and Ronaldo embodies your favourite goals.
Exactly, yeah, exactly. So, we've got a third now, club v country as well. We can add that into the list of things we disagree about.
Yes.
So we can add that.
So just quickly then on that then, if I was to leave you one person's highlight reel to watch on YouTube, who would it be?
Zinedine Zidane.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
He scored some fabulous goals. He's got a fabulous skill, and he dribbled around people. He had everything. Zinedine Zidane.
But was not as anywhere near as consistent as people thought.
Doesn't matter.
throughout the league season. Yeah, no, it's just I think the players now have developed a lot of much higher levels of consistency. I mean, the goals you see Ronaldo and Messi scoring is that consistency just puts them far above their peers of years gone by.
Yeah, definitely. So, go on then. What about you? If you could have one player's highlight reel,
Um,
Gareth Bale.
I mean, he is Gareth Bale, yeah,
That's
yeah.
ludicrous.
It feels
Absolutely
somewhat.
ridiculous. Out of all
Yeah,
the
he is,
players
isn't
in
he? He's
world
fantastic.
football, no, don't try and change that around. In all the world players of world football ever, you would want to watch Gareth Bale's highlight reel.
Maybe Ronaldinho, but do you know what? Slightly off that topic is that my son is just getting into football, and we sat and watched all of the Nike adverts, the ones that were in the cage with
yes.
remember those adverts? Yeah,
Cantona as the ref on the boat.
Yeah. I realised because I remember there being one advert, but there's lots of different matches they have before it. Yeah. So we watched all those, and he keeps going to me, "Daddy, can we watch the one when you were younger with football?" I was like, "Yes, you can, son."
Yes,
so
we can. Yeah. I'll tell you who always gets forgotten about in those adverts, and in his sort of the generation he was of a footballer. Edgar Davids never gets really talked about.
Yes, I love Edgar Davids. Yeah,
he was incredible, wasn't he? Back in the day for Juventus, I remember him at Juventus.
Such a ridiculously unique player. Yeah. He's somewhat similar to Moussa Dembele now in the fact that he's had that immense power and technique. It's like, but he was much more ferocious than Dembele in the tackle. So Edgar Davids had such a ferocious kind of tenacity to him, but also the sublime technique, which put him on like adverts like that. But yeah, he combined those two very, very strangely. Normally, you'd never find him in a central midfielder like it. But yeah, he was unique. Very unique.
Yeah, definitely. So on the topic of adverts, have you shown your little boy the Yoga Benito in the airport advert?
I have showed him that. Yes, yeah.
Good. I used to love that advert. Used to absolutely love it.
Yeah.
Can't believe it hit the post.
Yeah, because one of my favourite players previously was Denilson because of his dribbling ability. Absolutely love a bit of Denilson.
Okay.
At one point, the most expensive player in the world.
He was when he moved to Real Betis, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's a strange mix, isn't it?
That is a strange mix. So, interesting. Okay, so yeah, it would be very interesting to hear your guys' thoughts in the comments below to let us know what you think about your favourite goals and what you take on how Josh and I describe our goals and how we feel about it. So, well, I think that was pretty much all we had. So, have you got a fact ready, Josh?
I have got a fact ready.
You have been treating the listeners a bit recently. Like, I think it was 3 facts in total we had last week, and before that it was 2 facts. So, are we down to the normal 1, or is there more than
just one? Just one fact. One fact. Okay. So, this follows on from Watford's win against Tottenham and their overall good season. You start thinking, oh. And so, in 2014-15, Leicester finished 14th in the league. They had 41 points and a record of 11 wins, 8 draws and 19 losses. The following year, they obviously won the league. Yeah. Well done them. Last season, Watford finished 14th. They got 41 points. They had a record of 11 wins, 8 draws and 19 losses. Get your money on them now. Watford are going to win the league.
That is incredible. If that happens, that is a stat and fact for the history books. That is incredible if that does happen. I'm going to put a quid on Watford. I love stuff like that.
Might as well.
Exactly. Get your mortgage on them. No, don't do that. Don't sue us.
Don't do that.
Betting
no.
advice. Yeah. It's going to fall away. It's going to
fall
away, isn't it?
When the fun stops, stop. Yeah. Exactly, oh yeah, we'll do.
I mean, they can't keep it going with Troy Deeney up front, can they? Really?
No. The thing is, with a situation like this, you think the international break's probably come at a bad time, because if they have that momentum going, if they had that for like 5-10 games, it's better. But ultimately, all they've done so far is pretty much guarantee themselves safe from relegation already, because they've got, what is it, 4 wins, 3 wins, is it?
Yeah.
Already, yeah, and that's like that point haul. Yeah, that point haul, that's sort of a third of your way through, like, to keeping yourselves up. So you over the next 35 games, you've got to get just 20 points, 30 points. It's much more manageable, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. And I think, I don't know, it would be quite good to see Watford win it. I just don't want to see Troy Deeney lift the trophy. He's a bit of a knob, isn't he? So,
I would hate to see Watford win it.
I think we've discussed Troy Deeney previously in a previous podcast, but that's a very interesting fact. I like that. Yeah. So yeah, Watford, it could be on it. So I think that's the end of this podcast. I don't even know what number we're up to. They just seem to just be flowing so nicely now.
Absolutely. I think we're around the 14 mark, but yeah, it's been great fun again. Thank you.
Yeah. It's been great. It's been good chatting to you. It's been great everything. We'll sort it out. So next week we're going to try and put together our club of 23 using international selection rules. 3 goalkeepers.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. We'll try
Absolutely.
and put that together. I like the sound of that. But anyway, so we'll leave it there. Thank you very much for listening, guys. Josh, if you want to say a farewell message, now's the time because we're going to end the podcast.
Well, I better say goodbye then. Goodbye.
They can't say it any better than that, can you? So,
No.
Thank you very much for listening, guys. We'll be back next week with another Football Talk podcast. But for now, we'll see you very soon. We're out. Cheers.